truffle growers and YouTube world. It's a busy day here on our Healdsburg truffle orchard location. We've got mowing going on as we've been fighting weeds, and one of our vineyard irrigation systems has got this big loud whistle, so ignore all the noise. But I'm here today to talk to you about planting trees. I have a hazelnut behind me, tuber melanosporum on its roots, which is the black burgundy truffle. And these trees were planted too deep in the soil, and I'm going to show you how that was done and why you don't want to do that. When you plant trees, you want to plant them not too shallow, not too deep. There's an area along the base of the tree where the roots meet the stem, or what's going to become the trunk of the tree. It's called the root crown, and it's an area that you want to have just at the soil surface and not too far below. So if you plant trees and your new trees are getting plenty of irrigation, plenty of breaks between irrigation, not soggy soil, not overwatered, and they're looking like this on year number 3 after spring, there's going to be something going on at the base of the tree. You could have gophers, you could have girdling roots. There's many issues that could be causing this, and the main issue that we've been having in this orchard is that the trees, this is a rehabilitation project, by the way. I didn't design or plant this orchard. I'm now rehabilitating it, and I'm in my first spring of rehabilitation. So let's dig in and see what we can find here. I'm going to put on my gloves. Putting on my glove here. You see the bottom of that tree? I mean, it looks like it's pretty good in the soil, but I start excavating it. Maybe it can hold this a little better. You can see how much trunk is underground. Can you see that? This little trunk. Still trunk. It's a weed. Still trunk. So now I need a tool, which I don't really have at the moment, without going back to the car. Maybe I'll go back to the car and get a tool. All right, you guys, I had a tool in my pocket. I have pruners. Not the best implement for digging without having to walk all the way across the other side of the orchard. I'm gonna dig around the base of this tree. Hold on a second. So I've dug out to the base of this tree and found the root crown, which is about 5 or 6 inches below where the surface of the soil is, which is too deep for these hazelnuts truffle trees. Same would go for the pines and the different species of oaks that we use to grow different species of truffles. So you want to be mindful of how deep you plant your trees when you originally put them in the soil, because if you don't plant them correctly initially, they will suffer and they can die. We've actually had, when I first took on this orchard last summer, 60% mortality. 60% of these 500 trees were dead. And this is the main reason. They were planted too deep in the soil. Can you, sorry, I'm shaking the camera. You can see here, this is the root crown, and the soil surface was all the way up to here. Can you even see how deep these trees were planted? I can see there's a root coming out right here. And a better method to excavate roots, particularly with adult trees, you can use water or you can use air. Air excavation and water excavation work very well. But with this small, still considered juvenile tree, I'm just kind of digging it out a little bit. You can see the canopy. I mean, it's got like 20% canopy. We're well into spring, and so these leaves should be ideally much more full and much larger. I can give you an example of some of the other trees that have a much fuller canopy and are much healthier. So I'm not really going to bury this tree back up. I want this tree to live and thrive and grow truffles eventually. So, so that's a little tidbit on tree planting. All right, I'm gonna show you some healthy trees. Here's an example of a tree that's much healthier, but still not ideally healthy. It's been in the ground here for 3 years, and it was a 4-year-old juvenile tree from a nursery. At the base, you see these whips. We want these whips to grow and get healthy and allow this tree to bush out, which will protect the bark of this tree from solar radiation. But you can see the healthy canopy, the nice large leaves, nice and green. A little pissed off because we have irrigation issues here as well that we're trying to fix. But versus that other tree over there, you can barely even see it, it's right there. The one I just excavated. We do have some trees that are nice and healthy. Here's another tree that leafed out really well this spring. And now it's just really unhappy. So we're going to take a look what's going on down here at the base. We got lots of sprouts, which is a good sign. Not too many weeds around the base, but we're going to pull the weeds out anyways. I want to get them by the roots so that they don't take up the water from your tree. We're going to excavate this crown a little bit. Hold on a second. Let me excavate the crown. The whips on this tree are healthy. Some are dying back, but for the majority, they are happy and healthy. And there's lots of roots here at the surface of the soil, which is a good sign. You want shallow and frequent waterings to keep these roots coming up to the surface, seeking water. That way your truffles will grow up at the surface and not be driven to go down, fruiting down deep. But still, you can see the trunk of this tree. Even though we've got whips way up here at the soil surface, the original trunk of the tree goes down, down, down into the soil. There's the root crown way down there. And the soil surface was up here. What is that? 3-4 inches? Way too deep. These aren't grapes, these are trees. So be mindful. Also, you see the weed eater has been eating up these whips. When you're out here weed eating, and this is my team's fault, but I have to get on them about this. You don't want to weed eat your tree whips, leaving frayed ends. If you're going to clip them, you want to clip them clean. clean. That way you don't invite fungal infections, so that the tree can, you know, close up the wound. But when you're weed eating, you want to just get the weeds, not the tree. Anyways, we're talking about the root ball here. And we want to free this tree in hopes that it can recover, make a full recovery. I'm going to close this up though, because we do have roots here. Just be mindful when you're planting your tree, because you don't want this to happen. They're expensive, you know? Here's another tree. Is it alive? You can see the gophers have been in and around this tree. Can I pull it out? Yep. Dead tree. Okay, last tree I'm going to show you guys in this video. This guy looks lion-tailed. Scraggly in the middle. Again, buried way too deep. The root crown is way down here. And this bunch of grass was completely girdling this trunk. The grass roots were way out here, absorbing all of the nutrients and robbing this tree of all the moisture it needed to leaf out this spring. So another reason to spray, hand pull weeds, weed whack, and keep these weeds under control so that your trees don't end up looking like this and being unhealthy and unhappy. So there you have it, YouTube world. Didn't really do 5 ways to plant a tree or 5 ways to replant a tree or anything like that, but here we are in a truffle orchard, and plant your trees properly at the root crown and keep your weeds under control and you'll grow truffles. Alright, YouTubers and you fungi and gals, enjoy the day. We're almost done mowing, yay!